morning, good morning. Trading options on SPY.
I think you did okay. You put it to work every day, right here.
Scholars that I put through, and I don't feel foolish.
Right.
Oh, maybe I'm another joker like everybody.
Paying attention at levels of the supply and demand.
It's a big set with Jensen Wong.
Being patient.
When we come back, the buzz surrounding today's Tesla product event.
Trying to look for confluences on the 2-minute chart and the 5-minute chart.
When we return.
Let's go.
Take a look at some NASDAQ 100 gainers. AMD once again going to add to yesterday's gains. Another 5% as a bunch of analysts either raise their target or upgrade in the case of Jefferies, for example. PayPal's in there, Trade Desk, Micron. We'll get Kramer's Mad Dash and countdown to the opening bell after a break. First, a reminder about this afternoon.
Yes, people can still join the club right now and be able to watch our special with Jensen Wong. I think is the most important person in the world right now in business. It's just the club. It's not going to be on our network. You can still sign up. And I think it's important to know that you can do it right up until a second before.
Very good.
Why not join? Today we see PayPal on the move. PayPal has an ad manager for small and medium-sized businesses. Now this is again, I think, a shot at what you can do with Meta. I mean, everyone is saying, listen, we're going to get advertising for small business. You got Shopify that's doing it with Etsy, on OpenAI. The small, medium-sized business people, why are they so treasured? Because it is the backbone of the U.S. economy, and they start up all the time, and they need exposure, and this is the cheapest form of exposure. I'll tell you, the one that's the most undervalued is Reddit. Reddit ads have been shown to do everything in a targeted group, but they're not talked about that much because Reddit, Steve Huffman is not he's not a promotion artist. But I do like that Alex Christ is finally doing something to merit what I think is a very, very good set of things he wants to do for small, medium-sized business. Boom, he does it, and he's correctly, let's say he's getting correct credit, but the stock is still down for the year.
Yeah. Do you think that a giant, Meta's just the example that we have in hand, can be materially slowed by 1,000 tiny arrows?
I think that yes. I think that you have to look at price performance. The price performance from a Meta ad is very, very good, but look, it works. Maybe everything works. I mean, maybe you take an attitude that just says you can put it with everybody because it's still so much better than linear and TV and magazines. Those were all the way used to try to get hold of people, all failures. So this is terrific for small mediums. That's who uses PayPal. Congratulations to them for getting it right.
Yeah, we talked about it in the spring and the summer, David's interview, and whether there was a turn. Yeah.
I have become increasingly, let's just say, chagrined about why they didn't do something. Well, now they're doing something.
Yeah.
It's the type of thing that Jensen would describe. I keep talking Jensen because he is the one who'd say there's room for everyone in this fourth industrial revolution, except for the bears. They don't seem to get it. They can stay in Jellystone National Park for all I care. And billionaires too. Take that.
We're gonna talk about the other side in a little bit.
Billionaires.
The opening bell a few moments away, and don't forget you can catch us anytime, anywhere. Just listen to and follow the Squawk on the Street Opening Bell podcast. for the first time ever today, currently sitting just a few dollars above that, Jim. Goldman takes their forecast for year-end 26 to 4,900.
Well, I think that one of the things that people are missing about gold, and this is something you get when you speak to Agnico Eagle, is that we're having hard trouble finding gold. There are only a few places left, and when you go to areas like where Barrick went to in Africa, and you have some of your teammates kidnapped, and you have to pay ransom, or think about what you have to do with the Grasberg mine in Freeport. You come back to and say, listen, the safe that's in Indonesia. What happens ultimately is you say, wow, I can only really find gold in Canada and the United States without any problem, which is Agnico. And then you put it in the other side, with the demand side, that how Costco can't find any, and Costco's one of the largest buyers in the world of anything.
Right.
We have a gold shortage. We do not. We maybe have a Bitcoin shortage. It's real hard to tell because there's so many different crypto shortage. There's so many different coins. Maybe Bitcoin shortage, but gold is hard to find right now. Hard to find. We're just not finding big tracts of
Right.
it.
Well, but the demand side's important too. You put up Ken Griffin's comments from yesterday. He thinks investors are beginning to see it as safer than the dollar. And by the way, DXY is testing the trend line on a multi-year basis.
I totally agree with Ken Griffin on this. I have been a big believer. I've been a huge buyer of gold and believer of gold, and I've been wrong. And I'm glad and gratified to see I am no longer wrong. Is the way I want to look at it. I don't want to say I'm right. I'm just no longer wrong because I've been wrong for a long time on gold.
We'll see. Griffin, I think his actual quote yesterday was, "We're definitely on a bit of a sugar high in the U.S. economy right now."
Well, I mean, look, and if you look at Agnico's chart, you've got a stock that's up 117%. It may be sugar high, it may be talking about $37 trillion in debt. The only thing you can really do other than just say, look, they can't agree that in down there, is buy gold for your kids. And I have been emphasizing, please put it to safe deposit box. Do not keep it in your home. But you need it. Everybody needs it. In my book, I talk about you must have it. You just can't afford to not have gold.
There's the opening bell. You can hear, "Let's go Rangers." It is the New York Rangers, MSG Sports, celebrating their centennial season. Legends Adam Graves, Henrik Lundqvist, Mike Richter. Those are giants there on the podium. At the NASDAQ, it's natural gas producer Expand Energy, Jim. Yeah, we'll see. We continue to flirt around with these levels. Just 67.50. I see Ardeni went to 7K year-end as well, joining the likes of BMO.
You know, look, I do expect that there's going to be some turmoil around November 5th when the Supreme Court's going to hear the decision. You know, we're going to listen to the arguments about tariffs. That is the biggest, I'd say the biggest ticking time bomb if you think that Justice Roberts can't wrangle people together to do it, because then we'd have to write checks to these people who have been writing checks to us, and that is not something that anyone can, this market can't absorb that. You can't, not at these prices.
When Besson was on Squawk last week, he suggested we might hear news on a farm bailout today, Tuesday. There are some reports that it could be in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 billion, although there's questions now about how he would execute it given the shutdown.
I don't know. That's a great point. I mean, look, but then again, there's always emergency edicts that we do, and I'm doing something at the Federal Reserve. They're not covered. They can work at will. You know, the flip side of this is that there's still a lot of problems with commodity pressure in the economy. We're not talking enough about inflation. We know that Carlisle, by the way, had some interesting subbing for the Labor Department that wasn't so great.
Carlisle has some proprietary data which shows that we probably added 17K in September. That would have been a miss versus consensus estimates.
Yeah. Now, look, Carlisle, I've studied their work. I mean, their work is excellent. Okay, so that made me a little bit pause, and the downgrade to the home builders, that was a pause that I had. That was pretty tough.
I was going to try to get you on the ITB. This is close to a 2-month low on some of the builders.
Well, look, we need rate cuts, and we need to have the rate cuts.
See if you hold 6,800 and we go long.
We need to have any land that can be used because it is true that zoning is
See how he reacts to the high of the pre-market high.
stifles the affordability of homes for people, and I'm very much against that. And I think that the Atlantic, by the way, which I think is Terrific Magazine, why housing's so expensive. And I was all in on that piece. I think it's very true.
So what would you rather have, lower rates or easier permitting on a state and local level?
I think
You're gonna hold this position for a little while.
we did when our country was half the number of people we have right now.
Right.
And that's worrisome. Look, the home, I'm not talking, look, I already said that the small business is the backbone. I could then go with the American Dream home, and at that point I'm really just a hackneyed hack. But I would say that it's out of reach. Homes are out of reach. We got to find a way to make it so they're not out of reach.
Yeah, Goldman did a piece last week toying with how many homes we'd have to add to get affordability back to the 90s.
Oh, I know.
We're talking 4 million homes.
Yes.
I mean, that's nowhere near what Pulte is trying to get to,
No.
given FHFA measures
I
pressure.
do think, no, look, I mean, it's a real issue. We've got these intractable issues that make people be and feel poorer, and particularly the next generation. This current generation, when I wrote my book, I said, okay, listen, they're getting a lot of money, but they feel poor, they don't want to save, they feel that what's the point of not spending now? Why not spend? Because there's nothing we're never going to be as wealthy as our parents. That's the ethos of Gen Z, and I think that's
Working. Whoa.
You can correct that. You can put money away.
That's crazy.
Nbhd, they are out there. The next Nbhd is
35. Wow, that's crazy that you didn't.
at Lovin, or I don't want to put I don't want to put Palantir there, just because this man who runs
He wants to hold, but
Jensen Huang, he shouldn't be in the same sentence as Carp,
Right.
Because he's a genteel, terrific person who wants everyone to win, and I think that Alex Carp is very zero-sum.
Are you impressed with AMD's ability not to...
it's my fall from the sky, boys.
I thought it should have been higher yesterday. At one point, I was saying, listen, maybe it's going to be up 75 points. And the reason I said that is because what Lisa Su was saying was, look, RMI 450 stacks up. Now, by the way, even as recently as last year, she didn't feel she had what stacked up. And she would say, look, I think he's got a head start, he's further. She thinks catch up and maybe pass. Catch up and maybe pass. That's a very big statement, especially because right now Jensen's on a particular version that he hasn't even introduced as Vera Rubin yet. He's doing Grace Blackwell, and the Grace Blackwell, the Ultra. So I don't want to. I'm not buying it. I buy almost everything Lisa says, and I think it's terrific. But she's talking about a product that comes out in the second half of 2026, and by that point, I think Jensen's been a moving target the whole time, and what he will have will be definitively better.
Interesting. Well, maybe a series of leapfrogs.
Yes, exactly.
But as for market cap, AMD's basically 2 Intels now at this point.
Well, look, I think AMD is a remarkable company, and I think that Lisa Su was never deterred. She was quietly building something which she would tell people, but again, I think, Carl, you're dealing with these executives that are very different from the previous era. She never says anything without saying great things about Jensen. Jensen never says anything negative about the people he competes against. He wants everyone to win. He also wants this to be things. If it's the fourth industrial revolution, everybody has to win because he cannot be the gating factor, and the power companies can't be the gating factor. We have to find better, quicker power, and we can't find. I mean, I was doing a piece on Entergy yesterday. They're all in trying to get more power, but I saw coal making a comeback, and that's tough if coal makes a comeback because we're not ready for that in this country.
And in the meantime, electricity utility prices are doubling CPI.
No, this is not right. We have to find a way to make it so that the traditional way, which is that as there's more volume, the utilities can meet the volume and raise the rates by volume as opposed to just raise the rates, period. And I got to tell you, I've been recommending Entergy and American Electric Power, and these are good companies, but I don't want to see the rates go up for people.
Yeah.
They can't afford
Let's
it.
look at XLU. By the way, today, B of A does downgrade the sector, utilities, and they double upgrade for healthcare. They were at underweight, they go to overweight.
That. I mean, that's typical bull market behavior. You look and see what sector hasn't moved yet, and you go all in. Now, there was a litigation that J&J lost yesterday. You're getting go buy J&J. Just go buy J&J. It's down 5. People will forget about the litigation in 4.5 at this time when favor comes back, I think. Oh, I'm sorry.
While you were out.
Yeah, while you were out, I think J&J right now you buy it and then you just take a couple of Tylenol. Oops, no, that's Kenvue. Forget the Tylenol. But I do think that J&J is the kind of thing you look for in a real bull market, like in the 80s. You just say, oh my God, J&J, I got a chip.
We talked about IBM at the top, Jim, and their partnership now with Anthropic, but we've already taken out the highs from the summer.
Think about IBM. The last quarter, Ben Righteous and I were talking about, this is from Melius. The last quarter I liked, and we've done a piece which just said the quarter was good, and we looked foolish for about 3 weeks, and then now you look at this and you say, wow, that was your chance. Again, using the rules of the 1980s, not 1999, which only the billionaires only seem to remember that year. What you have to recognize is that we would get these markets and you would say, okay, they haven't taken up the waste management group, or they haven't taken up Pepsi and Coke.
Right.
That's the way it used to be, and I think people just are like thinking this is unfathomable. Now they say healthcare. That is classic behavior from the 80s and early 90s, where you said, oh, I've got that area. Now age does give you one advantage, which is that you remember that period from when I used to say, well, I would go in to see rich families, and I say, you got to buy Pepsi. Why? Well, it's at 90. Why does that good? Well, $90 stocks go to 120. Well, how about Coca-Cola? It's at 80. When that gets to 90, it's going to go. I used to go in and say that, and everyone laughed at me, and then everyone gave me all the money I wanted.
I think you go into this in your book a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a fun time because you had to have the wisdom of recognizing the era of magical investing.
Yes. Now we are going to get Thursday. Pepsi's going to help us kick off the season.
Look, I think Pepsi's going to be a little bit like STZ, okay? STZ was so negative that it looked up to people. I think Pepsi at 139 could do the exact same thing. I believe that Pepsi has a chance to be the next Constellation. Constellation had taken things down so low that when it finally reported and it was not good, they were cautiously optimistic that the worst is over, and so people didn't jump on that because they're looking for something.
They said the consumer remains, quote, depressed.
Well, I mean, but I knew they were depressed. Remember, magical investing. Oh, I knew they were depressed. He says they're depressed. It's time. And he's talking about, look, I'm in the liquor bit. My wife's got Fosforo. Mezcal, agave is the only thing that's still up. The only spirit that's up, the only one is agave. So I look at this and I say, well, you know what? It's down so low. They have cash flow. Maybe the worst is over. That's fine. PepsiCo, maybe the worst is over. Yeah, Constellation saying GLP, that's one. Don't worry about it. The largest distributors in the world are worried about it, but Bill Newland's telling us not to. I mean, PepsiCo, I think that I do believe that there's look, Ramon LaGuardia is when Elliott got in, the stock was at 148. Okay, now it's at 139. It yields 4%. I think Ramon LaGuardia could just say, you know what? I know everybody thinks we're doing badly, and the stock goes higher. I'm not kidding. It's one of those situations. We're doing badly. You think we're doing badly. We're doing badly. Maybe worse is over. Buy PepsiCo. I'm telling you, buy PepsiCo. Is J&J up yet? Did you have a J&J? Want to get that one?
That's a tough fight.
No. All right, we moved 2 points. How about AppLovin? You bet it is. AppLovin's up 38. What? The SEC sent him a letter. I mean, it doesn't. This is a different kind of market, and you have people come on. You have Paul Tudor Jones come on. I'm going to say it because I love Paul Tudor Jones, and he has tremendous gravitas. He's ultimately going to be right, but in the interim, ultimately the market can come in. It can come in. I'm not saying it's going to be 1999.
Well, I mean, if Carlisle's right that we're doing 17,000 jobs a month,
then that's cut.
Eventually, you think the market will start discounting that?
Cut. You know, cut. You know, short rates go to 2. Look, I think people are confusing things. Do I think it should be this way versus it's this way? When I lived through the 80s and 90s, and I got very fortunate to be able to make a lot of money in the 80s, I believed, okay? I just believed. I said, look, I think this is happening. I went in. I'm a poor reporter. I got in at Goldman Sachs. I went in. People don't remember that there was a time when if you got in, you made money. Because we got so interested in S&P funds. That's all we do. S&P. They don't realize that an AppLovin can change your life. AMD can change your life. These are life-changing moves. What's the matter with trying to get a life-changing move? You in the S&P 500, you'll never be in a life-changing move. Ever.
this is your general framework in the book that the index funds are a good base of the operation, but they're not gonna make you rich. Is your point?
They're not, and I'm telling you that we are so beaten down that this is a lumpen proletariat group of people. Lumpen proletariat. The people are a sack of potatoes, Engels market, and we have to change that. We have to tell people, listen, you can go and find Jensen Wong. There are not that many of them, but they can change your life. The people at that meeting today are all club members who made hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars by buying the stock of that man, because that man told you he could do it. And that's what we should be excited about. No, hey, I'm really fired up by my S&P 500 fund. Forget it. They're in, and again, I'd say, as a concession, I say you got to have one. But there are companies that are making you fortunes, and you're choosing to avoid it because someone who has $1 billion tells you not to do it. Now, the only billionaire I know, Tepper called me when Alibaba was in 79, and he said, bah, bah, bah. I said, okay, Tepper, for some reason, I don't know why, Tepper's willing to help people make money. I don't know what's about that man that he wants people to, like, I want to tell him, stop making people money. But there is, without a doubt, to not talk about individual stocks is to forget that this is the year of magical investing.
What do you make of ICE Polymarket?
Oh, what do I make about ICE?
Yeah.
But he's a magic touch. Magic touch. Now, I think Polymarket is good. I have to tell you, there's too much betting. I recognize. Try to keep the dollars low if you do bet.
Right.
I know there are a lot of younger people who are on their, this constantly making bets. Try to focus a little more on work, because you're never going to get anywhere. You're never going to get rich, and you're never going to get anywhere. And stop betting and start finding fantastic companies. Stop betting on a Robinhood and own the stock of Robinhood.
Yeah, you had Galaxy yesterday trying to muscle in on Hood's neighborhood. And then, of course, today, Polymarket ICE will be interesting.
Room for everybody.
Yep.
Room for everybody. I just think that this zero-sum analysis is something that the Bears have put in our head over the last 30 years, which is that you can't win and only one can win. That's foolish. It's exactly the opposite of the Mag 7, exactly the opposite of FANG. When I created FANG, I said, hey, listen, everyone's going to win. And, everyone won, but still the narrative became don't buy stocks, buy index funds. And there are people whom I revere, and that's why I say 50% of your money in the book, 50% of your money should be index funds, who I revere them. But at the same time, what is the matter with finding Berkshire Hathaway instead of just listening to the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, now chairman of Berkshire Hathaway? When I met Lee Cooperman in the 1980s, he said, buy
Yes.
Berkshire Hathaway.
Yes. I mean, we did have Cooperman on the other day, and you know what he quoted? He quoted Buffett from the 90s saying we've entered that period where everybody in the market's made money, and they're in the market because you make money.
Right. Well,
I think that's a bit of a treacherous period.
He told me to lease and tell everyone to buy Berkshire Hathaway, but it was a huge dollar amount, and no one wanted to listen to me. I mean, it was terrible. I couldn't convince anyone to buy it because the stock was $2,000. Well, it turned out it was worth so much more. So much more. All I'm saying is that people, I'm not saying suspend judgment. I am saying look at the wealth that's being created. Look at the lives that are being changed. I'm trying to change lives with the club. The damn club, I care. I care because I want to change lives. I want to change the lives of people. When I walk on the street and I see people, guy on Friday night stops me, says, hey man, I make $300,000. $300,000, never have $300,000. Never. Guy on the street in Summit, thank you, I made $250,000. And I always say the same thing. I didn't do it. Jensen Wong did it. I just listened. I'm an apostle to that man. And that's why you should join the darn club.
We look forward to this afternoon with Jensen.
Little risky the short position I took, but if the OR breaks, I think we might get a continuation at least 85.
Kashkari at 11:30. For now, bonds have been fairly well behaved.
Let's see the test is now. I'm gonna hold for a second. you go. Watch this for a sec. I'm gonna try to trust the setup for a second here. See how that 5-minute candle closes. There you go. So he wants to. Get rid of one right there. Shit. Ah.
Watching Tesla today, as we do expect perhaps a more affordable version of a Model Y SUV today, Jim. There's that. And Ford's down 4 on this aluminum plant fire.
Going back for the Jim Farley, I mean, there's really some hope. There is a way that they may avoid the complete downside that we're talking about. Remember, they did much better with the president recently, and that's worth more than this thing's a negative. He hasn't been able to confirm yet exactly how bad, but he thinks he can get. There could be a workaround. And that could help significantly. That's as of about 10 seconds ago.
That's good. Important to watch. Mercedes had Q3 sales not great. Down in China, down here.
Oh, my God, down 27% in China.
Yeah.
Germany must be so hurt. Wow.
For the time being, Dow's flat, 67.45. We do have S&P NASDAQ all-time highs once again. Stay with us.
Could work for the longs, so I'm not quite sure if this is gonna be Can still fail. Can still fail. Let's see this bounce here. Failed. Okay, I'm gonna stop for a second. Market doesn't know what it got to. So.
get to Jim and stop trading.
Talk about stocks that have come down so much that maybe they can bounce. Take a look at McCormick. Okay, so McCormick Spice down to $1.40, yields 2.69%, still has 22 PE. But Brendan Floyd did a good job. The miss was not because of volume. It was just because of, like, let's say they have China, they had some problems, and I think that that's a company that could be due for a bounce if we get a Pepsi bounce. I do think that there's money rotating to the areas that are not participating. That's a different kind of money that I'm talking about being made in terms of like the Jensen money when we see Jensen at 1. There are amazing people who the cynicism about how great we are is really disabling. Both parties participate in the idea that we're just not great.
You don't think that they're looking at the behavior of gold or the dollar and thinking there's some anxiety?
No, you're absolutely. Look, there has to be anxiety given the fact that there's $37 trillion in debt. That's why I say, listen, you have to own gold. But I just want people to not be blind to the idea of the wealth creation that we talked about that Michael Dell is doing right now, that Lisa Su is doing right now. And it's not like they're saying you can't have this. They're saying you can have it, but you insist on being just index funds. I'm sorry, I wish I could help you, but I'm just 1 of 500. These people are not 1 of 500. They're some people, just like Orwell. Some of them are more equal.
You're right. We can't wait for 4 o'clock.
Oh, well, I'm so excited today.
Yeah. You thinking about?
You know, my daughter texted me. She said, don't take any wood nickels. There's something my father used to say before I went to school every morning. But it's to the point everyone just wants to know. And it's going to be a little more celebratory than it is going to be investment.
Sure. Yeah, of course. And is it here?
It's here.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome.
And what can I say? I am in awe of him. I know you're not supposed to be. I know we're all critical reporters who I grew up in the Woodward and Bernstein era, but some people transcend that.
Well, they did say follow the money.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, that's
follow the money.
Jim, we'll see you this afternoon
so much,
and tonight. By the way, CNBC.com/monthly meeting.
Yes.
If you want to be a part of it.
I mean, come on, stop it already. Join.
For the time being, a little bit of split market here. Dow down 5, S&P up 6 or 7. Don't go anywhere.
I don't know how I saw this, but I did see this. Hopefully it will hold. Wait for a retest of the orb, a fail, and I'll add for a move lower.
Good Tuesday morning. Welcome to Squawk on the Street. I'm Sarah Eisen with Carl Quintanilla. We are live from Post 9 of the New York Stock Exchange. David Faber has the morning off. Coming up this hour, Thoma Bravo, managing partner Orlando Bravo, will join us here at Post 9 as hundreds of billions of dollars flow around the AI ecosystem. We'll talk about where the tech buyout firm is putting money to work right now. Plus, former Dallas Fed President Robert Kaplan will be with us to talk about the shutdown's impact on the Fed and on the economy. And that's where we start today, Carl. We don't have the official economic data coming out, so everyone's trying to figure out what's happening, particularly on jobs, especially because this is a time where the market was starting to worry about what the jobs market is showing, and there's a lot of uncertainty in the data. So what can we do? Well, we can work with what we've got. And so I put together a few sort of real-time indicators or leading indicators to show us what we might be seeing on jobs if we were to have gotten a jobs report, which we didn't because of the shutdown. So Carlyle put out a real-time indicator today. They looked across all their businesses. Remember, they own a lot of businesses in private equity. They have, I think, more than 700,000 people working for them. So here's what they're estimating. 17,000 jobs added in the month of September. And that would be a step down from what we saw in August, which was 22,000, but also sort of jives with the weaker jobs growth we've seen lately. Remember, June, according to revisions, actually went negative on job growth. So that's what they're estimating. And then the other one that I always point out is the NFIB hiring intentions. This is from the Small Business Report, Small Business Sentiment. They poll small businesses about what their plans are to hire. It's a leading indicator, and actually, Pantheon Macro says it's one of the best indicators with a 4-month lag. So in other words, we saw the downturn a couple months ago. We're starting to see the weak data. Pantheon notes the uptick recently in small business hiring intentions and is higher than consensus on September jobs. Actually says we could see 70,000. So just a few sort of things out there. People are looking at the Indeed job openings data. People are looking at ADP, which did come out, showed weakness, job losses for the month, and trying to figure out where the trend is right now. Doesn't look like stocks seem to mind, though.
No.
Maybe out of sight, out of mind.
No, where the market is accentuating something entirely different than the consumer or macro or employment. It's all about the industrial revolution. Even Daly today didn't seem that in her comments to Axios. Doesn't think it's much of a financial bubble because the companies are so strong, and thinks that whatever disruption comes, society as a whole is going to benefit from the change in technology.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's hard to deny the fact that that's what's moving the economy and the market is the incredible capital spending that is going into AI and how that's playing out. I mean, I'll just give you one more on the jobs front to sort of show you the trend. We got the conference board last week. This is consumer confidence, and it was a little bit lower because people were worried about jobs. Here's the employment trends index, and it's trending down, right? We know that. People are more worried about getting a job, and that's apparently a very good coincident indicator. Pantheon looked at some of the correlations, which shows there's 16.1% anticipate more jobs. That was down from 18% in August, according to the conference board. Almost 26% anticipated fewer jobs, down slightly from 25.9 jobs. The picture overall is sluggish job market, at least on the hiring front. The good news is we haven't really seen much in the way of firing. We don't get the jobless claims because of the shutdown, but that had been the trend going in.
Right. And Sarah's right. We're relying more on the private data because of the shutdown, officially reaching 1 week today, and some mixed signals from the president over the last 24 hours about a possible pathway to resolution. Our Emily Wilkins has the latest in D.C. Morning, Emily.
Good morning, Carl. Well, yeah, there might be a crack in the shutdown stalemate. We're going to have to see. But Trump saying last night he is open to working with Democrats on some sort of solution on health care. Of course, then he went on Truth Social shortly after and said that he would only be open to that after the Democrats vote with Republicans to reopen the government. And, I was on Capitol Hill last night talking with some some Republican senators, they really mirrored that they do want to have these conversations. They want to work with Democrats, but they can't do anything until the government is reopened. You've heard Senator Margaret Mullins talking maybe a little bit about some triggers in the process to make sure these discussions go forward. And you had Susan Collins, who was apparently walking around with a folder that actually contained a agreement that she's talking about with Republicans and Democrats with, something that would basically say to Democrats, hey, if you give us the votes to reopen the government, we promise to work with you on a solution here to those Affordable Care Act tax credits, which of course are expiring at the end of the year, although Americans are expected to see their premiums rise much sooner than that. We do have another vote that is set to happen today. Hasn't been scheduled yet timing-wise, but it would be the sixth vote to try to reopen the government, at least until November 21st. Last night, we didn't see any movement. We saw sort of the same folks voting for and against, but we do have Senator Angus King to watch today. Now, he's an independent. He caucuses with the Democrats, though, and he's been one of the three to cross the lines and vote with Republicans on opening the government. But King told reporters last night that unless he sees some more movement on these discussions around the Affordable Care Act tax credits, he actually might change his vote from a yes to a no. Remember, Republicans need to get 8 Senate Democrats here to be able to open the government. They currently have 3. Now they might have 2. So they're keeping it very close to see if there's an off-ramp in either terms of these Care Act negotiations, or if pressure is going to continue to build on the Democrats as the shutdown goes on. Figure out where the pressure
It's very close to stopping me out. This needs to reverse like right there. 95, yeah. It's knocking at the door. It's against the EMAs. You might sweep us until 97. I'm gonna wait for a second. I've seen this classic sweep, man. He sweeps you out and then he reverses. So I'm gonna hold. I need a reversal. It's to the pip. You sweep to the pip, and not a lot of people were swept out. So we need this 5-minute candle to turn red and close red, and you're gonna be fine. I mean, then the odds on our side. And then if he reclaims that high, then I'm out. There you go. That's where you go. There you go. Low, 89. Open. Open. 94. No, close. 89.75. 90. I'm selling 2 at 90.
So we're seeing some margin erosion because of it. Having said that, big companies can manage it. Yes, they'll have some margin erosion. What we're seeing more pronounced is if you're a small business and you rely on imports, I think they're having active discussions about whether they can stay in business, and we're hearing more and more of that.
And that gets reflected, I think, in some of the qualitative commentary. Dallas Fed, Empire Fed. You get comments like, "We may have to shut the business."
That's right, and I think part of the sluggishness in the labor market and in hiring is due to what's going on with small business. Having said that, as we get to the end of the year, you got a number of tailwinds that are powerful that could potentially cause some firming, at least, or reacceleration, and that's why the Fed's got to be very, very careful.
So when you say you don't want them to go too much farther, you think one more is appropriate, or do we not know?
So the way I would look at it, my own view is the neutral rate right now. Most aggressive case I can make for the neutral rate is it's in the neighborhood of 3.5, 3.75%. That's different than other people have said. That's 2.75% inflation and 0.75 to 1% real. Okay, we're at 4.25 right now.
So there's room.
There's not much. You cut one more time, and the problem is with inflation above target, I'm not sure I want to be at neutral. And the other comment I would make, which is lost sometimes in this discussion, above target inflation is a regressive tax on 85 million workers, American workers who make 55 grand a year or less, have lost 25% purchasing power.
They don't own stocks.
They don't have financial.
Gotta read it too.
And they're struggling to make ends meet. And I'm very sensitive.
Maybe prematurely, but that's the problem I have. I can't really hold my positions to my targets.
So if you were on the Fed still, would you be done?
It's just
Because of the shutdown,
hard.
it would probably push me to be more positive inclined about October, but the bar for me would go way up.
I get 2 more out, and I'm gonna try to.
I think the market may be overpricing the probability of
What about into next year? I mean, the president is going to get his pick for new Fed chair next year, and the expectation is someone very dovish, and we'll see a lot of rate cuts. Is that going to collide with your higher inflation expectations?
So all I can do is put myself in the shoes if I were in my former job or giving advice to people who are in the seat now. And I would say with inflation this much above target, you really got to be convinced that the labor market is weakening. Otherwise, I would say...
It's not that much above target. I mean, it's not in the threes. It's certainly not where we were in the last few years.
So here's the issue, is it's at least 3/4 above target, and it's not heading toward target. So in the fall of last year, it looked to me was starting to inch toward 2%. It's not now. It's going sideways, maybe inching up a little bit. That's the problem.
Finally, when Ken Griffin argues that he's worried people are seeing gold as safer than the dollar as we give futures above 4K. Do you think that's a reasonable point of view?
It's a reasonable point of view, and that the 10-year Treasury is not behaving like a safe haven right now. Gold is acting like the safe haven. Normally, when there's stress in the government, there's geopolitical issues, you would see a bigger rally in the 10-year. We haven't seen that. Now, there's a duration stickiness issue around the world, not just here, but I would say there's concern with all the uncertainty and the fact that still we're on track before tariffs to run a very large deficit, and we have to continue to show that we're making progress on deleveraging. We're not really, jury's out on that still.
But maybe it's not, we don't need a safe haven right now. Stocks are at a record high. I mean, it's not an environment where you would flock to safety.
I would tell you gold being up almost 40% year to date, if that should be getting our attention.
Yes.
That's a red light that we ought to be paying attention to.
Rob, thanks for coming in. Good to talk to you as
Good to
always,
talk to
Robert
you.
Kaplan.
Here's our roadmap for you for the rest of the hour. Billionaire tech investor Orlando Bravo will be here to talk about whether or not the huge amount of money flowing around AI is giving flashbacks to the dot-com bubble.
Will agentic AI end up being a net negative for some retailers? We'll talk to an analyst who says two names in particular may be at risk.
And details behind Intercontinental Exchange's decision to invest up to $2 billion in Polymarket. Squawk on the Street will be right back after break with the Dow down 22, but the S&P higher again. Welcome back. We are just over 30 minutes into the trading session. Here are three big movers we're watching. Shares of Minerals Explorer Trilogy Metals, surging triple digits right now, 217% higher, after the White House said it would take a 10% stake in the company as part of a broader push to unlock domestic supplies of copper and minerals in Alaska. The small cap company had a sub-$500 million market cap before that announcement. Meantime, Dell shares are gaining as the company kicks off its Analyst Day, raising annual revenue growth target to 7 to 9% from a prior 3 to 4%. CEO Michael Dell will join Closing Bell Overtime for a first on CNBC interview 4 p.m. Eastern. And then Intercontinental Exchange, ICE shares popping on news that the New York Stock Exchange owner plans to invest as much as $2 billion in the platform, the betting platform, Polymarket. Very interesting. Seema Modi joins us now with the details behind that deal. I guess if you can't beat them, join them.
That seems to be the case, Sarah. And the street seems positive on this investment. Atlas Merchant Capital's David Seamus, I caught up with him this morning. His firm recently acquiring Hive, and he tells me that this is just another example of the traditional finance world waking up to recognize the important role decentralized markets using blockchain have in the future of finance. And as Piper Sandler's technology team notes, it really puts the intercontinental exchange at the center of the two fastest growing trends in the exchange and trading space, which is retail prediction markets and tokenization. Here's what Polymarket CEO Shane Copland told CNBC last hour.
His willingness to go and say, hey, let's go and leverage this infrastructure to go and innovate and disrupt the existing legacy systems and go and try and figure out the new brave new world. You just can't pass that up.
Price tag, valuation getting a lot of attention. Just in June of this year, Polymarket reportedly raised $200 million at a valuation of $1 billion, followed by today's $2 billion investment from ICE, which would value the betting prediction market platform at about $8 billion. And it secured an investment from 1789 Capital, which is backed by Donald Trump Jr. earlier this year. In terms of user growth, right, the scale, it has about 250,000 users, which is more than its direct competitor, Kalshi. So one to watch, especially within the sports betting platform space, guys.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear Sprecher on Squawk this morning talk about just the degree to which legacy and the whole reason ICE exists, he argues, is because back in coming out of the dot-com bust, a lot of technology, a lot of companies were unwilling to innovate the way they appear to be willing to do so now.
And 10 years ago, we probably wouldn't have even thought that this type of investment synergy would make sense. But to your point, given that traditional finance is getting disrupted, finding these opportunities for these type of exchanges seems like it makes sense. Now we got to just understand over time, Carl, what the return on investment truly is.
All right. Seema, thanks. Seema Modi this morning watching ICE and Polymarket. Still ahead, billionaire tech investor Orlando Bravo is with us today on the massive amount of money flowing in the public and private markets around the AI trade. A lot of excitement after OpenAI brought shopping to their ChatGPT platform, but could it actually be a bad thing for some retailers? We'll talk about that. And after the break, Tesla fans expecting an announcement today, although not helping shares much in early trade. We'll get to the story and what Tesla may say today when we come back. Squawk on the Street. Let's get a check on the autos today and a number of headlines this morning. Tesla's under some pressure amid a lack of clarity from the company around today's teased release event. Multiple reports say it could be a cheaper version of the Model Y using less premium materials and lacking certain features. Ford's definitely in the red after a Wall Street Journal report on the impact of this large fire at a key supplier's plant, aluminum maker Novelis, which sells around 40% of all aluminum sheet used by domestic automakers and will now be offline until next year.
It's one thing after another for these automakers in the supply chain. Time now for a CNBC News update. Courtney Reagan has it for us this morning. Hi, Courtney.
Hi, Sarah. Attorney General Pam Bondi is testifying right now before the Senate Judiciary Committee. The panel is expected to cover a number of topics, including the recent indictment of former FBI Chief James Comey and files related to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. She's also expected to be grilled about the Trump administration's crime crackdown in U.S. cities. A U.S. delegation will join the indirect peace talks between Israel and Hamas tomorrow, according to Egypt's top diplomat. The foreign minister says the negotiations so far have covered the phases of Israeli withdrawal from Gaza, as well as the details of releasing hostages and a number of Palestinian prisoners. Today marks 2 years since Hamas's surprise attack on Israel, which triggered the war. And Italy plans to submit a proposal for a worldwide ceasefire to the United Nations ahead of next year's Milano Cortina Winter Olympics. The concept of a global truce dates back to the ancient games in Greece, when warring factions agreed to put down their arms for the duration of the event, but calls for ceasefires have not been successful in modern games. Maybe they can be this time. Sarah, back over to you.
Okay, thank you, Courtney. Constellation shares jumping following strong numbers from the alcohol seller. What it means for other beaten down beverage names, straight ahead. But first, Toma Bravo's Orlando Bravo joins us here at Post 9, talking recent deals and whether or not the AI trade is in a bubble. Don't go anywhere.
Okay, I'm out of bullets. See, I'm having trouble holding because I can't play anymore. That's the thing. But, well, good trading today. It's a little bit of a iffy start, but good trading. See you guys later.